are the only living soul I can tell my secret to. Well, I painted them. I did. Every single one of them. Every big eye. Me. And no one will ever know but you.
Welcome back to the channel. In last video, we explored the fascinating story of women as muses in art history, culminating with Artemisia Gentileschi. In today's video, we're pulling back the curtain on an even more intriguing story, the talented female artists who lived in the shadows of their more famous husbands. These aren't just stories of overlooked talent. They're tales about resilience, creativity, and the fight for recognition. Let's begin in 1950 San Francisco, where our first story unfolds. Margaret Kane, whose life would later inspire Tim Burton's Big Eyes, was about to meet the man who would both make and nearly break her career. But first, let's rewind. As a young girl, Margaret developed partial hearing loss. This challenge became the unexpected catalyst for her artistic journey. Unable to fully hear the world around her, she became intensely focused on people's eyes, the windows to emotions she couldn't always hear expressed. Her early works already showed the signature style we know today, those haunting, oversized eyes that seem to follow you across the room. Each painting captured not just a face, but a soul. Enter Walter Kane, a real estate agent with a silver tongue and dreams of artistic greatness. When he met Margaret in 1955, he saw something special, not just in her, but in the commercial potential of her unique style. What followed was one of our history's most audacious frauds. Walter began claiming Margaret's work as his own, spinning elaborate tales about his inspiration. He became a celebrity, hobnobbing with Hollywood stars, while Margaret worked in isolation, essentially a prisoner of her own success.
Your husband's quite a talent. Do you paint too?
Imagine painting masterpiece after masterpiece, only to watch someone else take credit. Margaret would work for up to 16 hours a day, creating the paintings that made Walter famous. She later said that she was threatened into silence, afraid for her life and for her daughter's safety. Now, let's shift to the vibrant world of 1940s New York City, where another remarkable story was unfolding. Lee Krasner, already an accomplished artist in her own right, met Jackson Pollock at the Macmillan Gallery in 1942, where they were both exhibiting their works together in a group show. What's fascinating about their early work is how different their styles were. Krasner was creating geometric abstractions, influenced by Piet Mondrian and Hans Hofmann, while Pollock was still finding his voice. Their relationship would become one of the most complex in art history. In their shared studio in Springs, East Hampton, you can still see how their artistic lives intertwined. Krasner would often paint at night, while Pollock worked during the day. Look at Krasner's Little Image series from the late 1940s. The energy, the movement, it's remarkably similar to what would later make Pollock famous. Art historians, such as Katie Hessel, argue that Krasner's influence on Pollock's signature style was far more significant than previously acknowledged. While Pollock became famous for his drip paintings, Krasner was putting her own career on hold. She became his manager, his promoter, and often his caretaker during his struggles with alcoholism. Our third story takes us back to New York City, where young Elaine Fried enrolled at the Leonardo da Vinci Art School. Her teacher, Willem de Kooning, already gaining recognition in the abstract expressionist movement. What's remarkable about Elaine de Kooning is how she carved out her own distinct artistic identity. While Willem worked in abstract expressionism, Elaine became known for her stunning portraits that combined traditional techniques with modern sensibilities. Her crowning achievement came in 1963 when she was commissioned to paint President J.F. Kennedy's official portrait. This wasn't just any portrait. It captured Kennedy's dynamic personality in a way that broke with traditional presidential portraiture. Think about this. In an era where presidential portraits were static, formal affairs, Elaine dared to show movement, energy, and personality. She created hundreds of studies of Kennedy, capturing him in various poses and settings. These relationships all face their own challenges. Pollock's infidelity and alcoholism strained his marriage until his tragic death in 1956. Walter Kane's fraud led to one of the most dramatic courtroom scenes in art history. Picture this: 1986, a Honolulu courtroom. The judge orders both Margaret and Walter to create a painting in front of the jury. Walter claims a shoulder injury. Margaret sits down and in less than an hour creates one of her iconic big-eyed paintings. Case closed, with Margaret awarded $4 million in damages. The good news is that time has begun to correct these historical oversights. Lee Krasner's works now sell for millions. The National Portrait Gallery celebrated Elaine de Kooning with a major retrospective. And Margaret Kane lived to see her story told in Tim Burton's 2014 biographical movie Big Eyes, finally receiving the credit she deserved. But these are just 3 stories. How many other talented women artists have been overshadowed throughout history? How many masterpieces have been misattributed or lost to time? Today's art world is different, but we still have work to do. Women artists still face unique challenges, and many historical injustices remain to be corrected. If you know of other sideline artists who deserve recognition, share their stories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into art history's hidden stories, don't forget to like and subscribe. In our next video, we'll highlight some contemporary female artists who are breaking the glass ceiling in the art world.